Hello, and welcome to another On Point review. I am John Pointer, and I am joined here with my good friend Chip.
Hey, John, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Chip Gunderson. How are you doing
I
today?
am doing great. Today we saw the brand new movie, The Invisible Man. Um, Quite the original movie, despite I think there being at least one other movie with the same title. I think you had some more specific feelings that you wanted to share about this that I thought I'd let you have the floor here.
Absolutely. I think, you and I have different fortes when it comes to the films that we tend to gravitate towards, John.
Right,
I grew up watching a lot of horror and suspense and in particular thriller style movies. So The Invisible Man is right in my billywhack.
right. I'm
I'm
more
like
into like cooking movies. But
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm actually I'm hoping that at some point, due to the recent success of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, again, still don't know what happened with that scene we talked about in our review, but still, despite that, it's doing very well in the box office. So I'm hoping that maybe they'll wake up and Nintendo will respond with a Cooking Mama movie, and that'll be right in your vein.
The Invisible Man, interesting
Yes,
movie.
sorry, I got a little distracted. The Invisible Man, it follows in a line of very traditional horror-esque films.
Mhm.
Of course, the original Invisible Man, which is based off of a novel, and then the Kevin Bacon movie in the mid 2000s with Hollow Man. At that point, Hollow Man had great breakthrough CG, which made it stand
Yeah.
out amongst its horror ilk.
By the way, that's a Hollow Man, Hollow, not to be confused with the other Kevin Bacon movie, Hollow Man, where he's a hologram.
Yes, I don't know if I saw that one actually, but
It's very confusing, but a lot of fun.
yeah, okay. I'll take your word for it, and I'll add it to my own personal to watch list. So, Invisible Man, directed by Leigh Whannell, whose his horror lineage goes all the way back to the original Saw movie, where he was a one of the main writers and unfortunately one of the actors in it, and his acting didn't hold up very well there.
Mhm.
He's also done Dead Silence and a bunch of other movies. I personally watched The Bye Bye Man, which he was also in, and let's say that's at the bottom of the barrel for me. But this movie was saved because it's taking this new approach by sort of crowdsourcing different parts of its script. I was
Right.
really impressed with that.
Right. I think
Uh,
you were telling me a little bit about this just before we saw the movie, and I, I didn't hear the entire story because I had like that issue with the popcorn and that manager who was very mean. Um,
oh yeah,
so
I'm
maybe
I'm
you
really
could,
sorry about that.
yeah. Well,
I did get the apology email, thankfully, and they're very, very sorry that he ended up invading both your privacy and your personal space.
yeah,
So,
I think part of what helped is just letting him know that like this was an important movie for me because the original Invisible Man was a movie that I went to see with my grandfather just 2 days before he passed away, and he seemed a lot more
yep,
sympathetic after that.
absolutely. And you've told me that story a number of times when we
Hmm.
were having drinks after the films. But yeah, so what happened was after Leigh Whannell hit the bottom, he's like, "What am I doing? I'm acting in The Bye Bye Man. I need to get back on my horror craft." He thought, what's the scariest place to look for new ideas? And immediately he went to Reddit. He went to the Reddit incel subreddit and sort of 50-50 crowdsourced all of the ideas in The Invisible Man. So when like you're watching the trailer and you're thinking, wow, this person's a completely attached and emotionally manipulative person who's now gotten superpowers in the forms of becoming invisible, that idea has its base root in the incel subreddit. This is their time to shine. And obviously, it's a super effective way to convey horror on a level that most people could not possibly imagine. Elizabeth Moss, the main actress in this, the protagonist, does a fantastic job showing all of the Chads out there how to get properly red pilled. I did think that they went a little skimpy on the gore, but
Yeah.
considering the psychological aspects, it was.
Well,
I unfortunately, again, you missed that scene because you were outside.
yeah, well,
But
that is the thing. Like, there wasn't actually that much even violence in this movie, despite it's marketed as that kind of movie. It seemed mostly just the Invisible Man, almost playing, almost playing pranks on her. I mean, they're like scary pranks, but it's like she walks out of a room and then the frying pan turns on and catches fire, and then she like rushes to put it out, and then he puts on another frying pan, and it would be
yeah,
slapstick if they didn't have like scary music and have her look terrified out of her mind, which, I mean, it would be scary, but it's just like that's what like the bulk of the movie is.
yeah, and also a small spoiler alert, both for the audience and for you, because this is the scene that I was mentioning that you were out for due to your popcorn issue. The scene in the trailer where they're in a police station and basically people are getting violently assaulted. This is all at a film studio. It's all staged. This is her day job.
Right.
So she's actually an actress playing an actress in the movie. All of that is fake. All of the actual horror comes from things like, as you said, the pranks. So like putting saran wrap over the toilet bowl, and she goes after being slipped a whole bunch of X-Lax, and it's nothing but like a trampoline of mudslide throughout the room. And yeah, it's horrible and disgusting and horrifying, but it's kind of benign in a sense of this is not what you think of when you think of a normal horror movie.
Right, and it's that one scene that they just keep coming back to of those cops getting like attacked. Like they didn't actually come out and say that they had to reshoot the scene, but it's so weird that like on 4 or 5 different occasions she's like, "Oh, she goes back to work at the studio," and it's the same cop getting beat up over and over again, and almost the same way. I'd almost think that they used the same shot in the movie over and over again, but you can kind of see he looks a little bit different, and like his movements are very, very slightly different. It's very strange how I couldn't wrap my mind around the story and what sort of direction they were going for there.
And just like I was mostly impressed with the film. I did think it felt like a bit of a cop out at the end where they revealed the reason why he was invisible is that this is
spoiler free, by the way.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
definitely spoiled too.
Heavily implied in the trailer, so we're not spoiling anything by saying this.
So I was, it's sort of an allegory. He's invisible because the movie is sponsored by NordVPN, and the entire time he's doing things, he's using NordVPN in order to capture the footage and get all the clicks on Instagram. Right. So that's the big twist at the end. And obviously she ends up canceling his account, and no longer is he able to be the Invisible Man.
Yeah, it's a very strange direction. Like, I don't remember how many people actually die in this movie. I think there's maybe 4, but then at least 2 of them, it's revealed that they were never really dead, and they were just in on it.
It's just crossing over again from the fact that she's portraying an actress. So these people are... Almost all of her friends are in the movie industry.
Yeah, but like the very first scene is like her at home crying because her like fiance is dead. But then the fiance is there in the next scene, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And she acts like everything's normal, and then he dies again. And I couldn't like was he an actor too?
I don't know. It is among the things that I've emailed the movie company about trying to get more information on. So I wish I could answer you, but I can't. But you know, overall, I enjoyed it. There were bits I didn't like, but overall, I'm for this new approach. I'm happy with the results, and I'm looking forward to Invisible Man 2. This time, I'm using the Tor browser.
Right, which I don't think is the official title, but that's basically what they've been calling it on Reddit. I don't know if Reddit has really felt the same way about it, because I understand there's a new thread now in like one of the incel subreddits now blaming this movie on like the feminist subreddit, saying that they made the movie instead. And
I did mention that they were crowdsourcing it, and while the incel subreddit had a very large impact, Leigh Whannell also went to the feminist subreddit in order to get an even-handed approach to this script. So it's 1/3 Leigh Whannell, 1/3 feminist, and 1/3 incel, and it's all dynamite on screen.
that would actually explain a lot of things. I think overall, I think the movie. I didn't really care for it that much, but I think we can settle for a score of 3 points.
Yeah, I think 3 points is an appropriate score to give it. There's room for improvement, absolutely, but 3 is very fair.
All right, so thank you for joining me once again, Chip. And
always a pleasure to be here.
And once again, if everyone enjoyed this review, please leave a comment and follow us on Twitter.
By the way, don't go to that one theater that we went to with unless they end up firing the custodial manager that ended up doing that thing to you.